Alright, gonna be cutting up some carrot for some hamburger soup. I got the big Chinese ones you can get from the superstores and stuff. So you circumcise it. You always want to cut from a flat surface. So we'll split it in half. We'll split this one in half too. Gonna cut what we call obliques, and they're just gonna be basically little triangles. And it's just for a different shape, right? You can cut them in coins, you can cut them in batonets, you can cut them in what they call brunoise, these tiny little squares. But this will be about the size of the meatballs in the soup. So that's going to be the size of my carrots in the soup. And when you're making soup and stuff, generally what you want is you want your pieces that are going to fit on a spoon. Some people just rough chop stuff and call it rustic. Well, it's not really rustic, but it's just kind of being lazy, because if you have everything a nice uniform size and it all fits on the spoon, and you don't have to worry about trying to cut stuff in half or bite stuff in half, or hot stuff slapping you on the chin or whatever like that. So, oops, better take the garbage out of there. Anyway, so we got our pieces. They're all roughly the same shape, and also when they're the same size like this, they're also going to cook evenly as well too. So while making soup, I'm going to have to cook the meatballs a little longer to get them done. They're only going to be about maybe a big golf ball size, maybe a little bit bigger. But if you have everything the same size, it all cooks at the same time, right? So I'll start the meatballs, I'll put the carrots in, the celery, the onion will go a little later because it won't take as long to cook. And yeah, we'll move on to the next bit, I guess. All right, next up, I'm going to put onion in my soup. I'm going to put shallots, not a white onion. Shallots are just a different kind of flavor. They're not really hot. They do have an onion flavor. It's like a combination of onion, garlic a little bit. Yeah, you just cut the ends off and peel them. I'm going to leave these whole because they're going to break up nice when I cook them in the soup a little later. And again, it's not really rocket science. Keep your fingers out of the way. Oops, don't got my brand new knife. Just get your nail under there, peel off a layer. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. I've got 3 more. I might put a couple more in there after, but yeah, once I'm done this, I'll start making my meatballs. Give away my trade secret, I guess. And also with the shallots, I also make a shallot dip out of the shallots as well too. It's got some shallots and cream cheese and a few other ingredients which I may or may not share later on. And I use shallots in I make French onion soup, and I make the beef stock from scratch. I'll do a video on making beef stock from scratch one of these days. I like to use like as many different kinds of onions as I can. I think there's like 8 or 10 different kinds of. So I use red onion, I use green onions, I use scallions, I use white onions, I use yellow onions, I use shallots, I use chives, I use leeks, I use cipollini onions if I can get them. I use sweet onions if I can get them, Walla Wallas or whatever. Yeah. Then I make the beef stock and cook the onions till they're brown and nice and caramelized, and yeah, there goes the stock and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from the shallots and we'll see you in a bit. All right, I'm a little more organized for this one. So I'm going to make the meatballs. 1/4 cup breadcrumbs, the onions from the onion video that I diced up. I got about 2 pounds of hamburger here. We buy it in bulk from Costco, vacuum seal it, freeze it, lasts up for a couple years if it's got a good seal on it in the freezer. I go about a teaspoon salt per pound of hamburger. You can put more in, you can put less in. I find 1 teaspoon is good for me. 2 grinds of pepper. Just a little bit of garlic. Not a whole lot. I don't want the taste of the meat. And that's the big thing. When I cook steaks and stuff, I put salt and pepper on it, maybe sometimes garlic powder and powder. I don't marinate it in soy sauce or anything. What I like to do is I like to make like a sauce to accompany it. So I like to taste the beef, but also like to dip the beef in, say, homemade barbecue sauce or béarnaise sauce, or you know, whatever the case may be that I'm in the mood for making at the time. So we got that. Oh, we can't forget our egg. Help as our binder, like so. Got my handy dandy knife rack just above me here. Comes in handy. Yeah. So we'll put these here for now. Dry off my plate. And now for these meatballs, I'm not going to brown them. I'm just going to cook them in the beef stock. And that'll be good enough. All right. Well, here comes Laius looking for scraps. He always travels down the bottom of my feet when I'm cooking, because once in a blue moon I drop something and he gets a treat. Unless it's an onion or garlic, and then he doesn't like it, but it is what it is. So, all right. Oh, and I forgot one crucial piece of equipment. I got a bunch of these scoops. I bought them at a kitchen store. I got all different sizes, anywhere from a tablespoon, teaspoon, to 2 tablespoons, to I think this is like a quarter cup, not quite a quarter cup. So depending how big I want the meatballs, maybe I'll go with the middle one today. Yeah, we'll go with the bigger one. We'll do that instead. All right. So we're gonna mix up our mix, the breadcrumbs and the beef, and the herbs and spices. Pre-mix it so it's all one big gooey mess before you get the ground beef in there. That way you don't get like a pocket of salt or a pocket of pepper or garlic or stuff like that. Just for an even mix. All right. Oh, and one thing, another thing I did forget, but I am going to put in. Dun, 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 dun. Just a hit of red wine. Any red wine will do. Like a tablespoon or a little more. None for the cook today though. I gotta go somewhere tonight. Not that I drink anyway, but you know. So yeah, so we got the beef in. And yeah, you mix it up. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This stuff is still a little bit frozen in the center, but that's okay. We just work it and work it. And it comes apart. Hey, butthead, what are you looking for? He's looking for something. He's looking for something. All right, so here we go. We're breaking her down nice. It's not frozen solid because I can bust it apart with my fingers, but. And for my meatballs, I think this is like medium. You can get 80-20, 80% meat, 20% fat. We did buy some stuff when we were in Kamloops. We're going back there pretty quick, by the way. At least I hope. Bought some in Kamloops. Furniture Raises has a farm, a winery, and they raise cows and they do organic beef and stuff. And we got some nice organic beef. I think we got like 25 pounds of beef for like $175 or something. And I know you're paying for organic and stuff, and you know, for that kind of money, getting that kind of beef is pretty good. But we figured it all use up the old stuff before we get into the new stuff. So yeah, so it's just a mix. And you don't want to work it too much because then the meatballs become almost hard. It's kind of hard to explain. These will be a little, they won't fall apart while cooking, but they'll be fall apart while eating. When you overmix stuff, it becomes like a paste, and then it's just pasty. So you just work it till it's combined. And I mean, you know, you got all the herbs and onions and stuff from the bottom mixed into it. I mean, it's not rocket science. Take my handy dandy scoop, level it off, press it in. Oh look, one beautiful meatball. Okay, I won't bore you with the making of 20 of them, so we'll come back a little bit later when they're all done and when I'm ready to fire stuff into the pot. There we go, meatballs are done. I'm going to wrap these up, pop in the fridge. I'll get the vegetables going in the broth there. So these will take a little time to cook. One little teensy one, there wasn't enough to go around. It is what it is. See you in a bit. Alrighty, vegetables have been simmering about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. I've got my lovely little meatballs. Here, I guess I'll keep it upright, huh? My lovely little meatballs. I'll get her up to a boil again here. Camera operator. And I'll make sure they're roundish. And we'll just drop them in one by one. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And I got about 2 liters of beef stock in here, or so. Ooh, let's hope they all fit. There we go. Come on, baby. There we go. All the way in there. Look at that. Yeehaw. Get my rubber glove off here without swallowing anything. We'll bring this back up to a boil, and you know what, I'm just going to take a picture after and you'll see the soup. When your balls are floating, it's done. I hit it with a little red wine and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Yeehaw! The finished product. Some San Pellegrino and meatball soup, carrots, onions, shallots, and celery. See how close we get before it goes out of focus. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. Alright, it's getting cold. Till the next time. Just a little tease. I'm going to take some of the broth and taste it. Yummy.